All right, so I've hinted to this a couple of times about horizontal and vertical lines. So we're going to talk about what those look like and how we graph those um, when we are tasked to do that. So in this quick video, we're going to talk about horizontal and vertical lines, and we're going to understand their properties and their graphs. All right, so the learning objectives is to understand horizontal and vertical lines, learn how to identify their equations, and then graph horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, so understanding horizontal lines. So horizontal lines will run parallel to your x-axis. A horizontal line has a constant y value. Okay, so the equation you're going to see is just y equals c, like y just equals a number with no x attached to it, where c is a constant. Okay, so for an example, y equals 4 passes through all x values. Doesn't matter what the x is as long as our y is at 4. And then last but not least, and the most important part, is that the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Okay, so if we had to graph y equals 4, okay, so nothing changes as far as we are still going to create our table. Okay, we're still going to say, okay, x and y, get our ordered pair. Okay, but because this line is a horizontal line, my y values is going to be 4. Okay, it doesn't matter what my x values are. Okay, as long as my y values stay on 4. Okay, so when I graph this, okay, we're saying y is 4, go up to my 4, which is here, -1, 4, -6, 4, right? And then if I draw my line through those points with my arrow, you're going to see, right? As long as my line is staying on 4 for y, it doesn't matter what my x values is. It can even be fractions, right? Like if we identify this point as 1 1/4, 1.25, well, that's still an ordered pair that would satisfy this line. Okay. Also notice my horizontal line is parallel to my x-axis. Okay, it's parallel to my x-axis. All right, so let's look at the difference between y equals 4 and y equals 4x. Okay, so y equals 4, what we just graphed, right? It's going to go through 4 on my y-axis, okay? And now y equals 4x, okay? If I create my table with my ordered pairs, okay, if I give x the value -1, I'm going to get -4 for y, -1 and -4 for my ordered pair. If x is 0, then y is 0, 0, 0. That means this line is going to go through the origin. And if I give x the value 1, y equals 4 times 1. Therefore, y will equal 4. Okay, I get the ordered pair 1, 4. And if I plot those points, 0, 0, 1, 4, use a different color for that one, 1, 4, and -1, -4, okay, notice this line is vastly different than our horizontal line. Okay, so it's extremely important that you understand that if you get that coefficient x, okay, and you have y in your graph, that you're going to have a line that's going to have some sort of a slope that's going to have both a x-intercept and a y-intercept, which in this example would just be the origin, 0, 0. All right. Vertical lines is a line that has a constant x value where the equation is x equals c. Okay, so an example is x equals -3, passes through -3, and it doesn't matter what the y values is for all of our y. And the slope of a vertical line is undefined. All right, So if we was graphing x equals -3, we would say, okay, -3, -3, 0, -3, 4, -3, -2, right? So notice that this vertical line is parallel to the y-axis, okay? And here is our line, okay? Parallel to the x-axis. Why would our slope be undefined? Well, because if you just work your slope formula, let's just say we take this point, -3, 4, and we take the point -3, 0, and we follow our slope formula, which is our change in y over our change in x. And if we give our our y values, we would say 0 minus 4. And if we give our x values, -3 minus a -3, we're going to get -4 up top. But -3, this becomes plus because of our double negation. This becomes -3 plus 3. Well, that's going to give us 0. And we know we can never have 0 in a denominator of a fraction. All right. So that's why vertical lines have an undefined slope. And if this was a horizontal line, let's say y equals -3. Okay, and we did the same thing with those points. We said the points was 0, 3. I'm sorry, 0, -3, and +1, -3. And we did our slope formula. M equals the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so our y's would be -3 plus 3, 1 minus 0. We get 0 over 1. It's acceptable for our 0 to be in the numerator, right? I can have 0 parts of the whole, but I can never have -4 parts of no whole. Okay, so again, vertical lines, undefined slope, horizontal lines, slope of 0, right? And there's an acronym that I always say to myself to remember this, and that's just VUX HOI. Okay, VUX, vertical line, undefined slope, x is constant, right? HOI, horizontal line, 0 slope, y is constant. Okay, so VUX HOI. Okay, so hopefully this has helped you as you continue to cruise through this information. But like always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Talk to you shortly.